All right, guys, you received your instructions earlier. As a reminder, obey my commands at all times, protect yourself at all times, touch him up. Good luck.
Nobody tells the father-son story better than Mark Kriegel, but let me attempt to give you a little something. Damian Knyba, his father started showing him fights of Mike Tyson. That's how he fell in love with the sport. When Curtis Harper's father died in a boating accident when he was 13, he turned to the streets and did 300 hours of community service at the PAL gym, and that's how he got started in boxing.
Is that a father-son story, too?
It is.
His dad took him there, huh?
I told you I don't tell him as well as you do.
There you go.
Breaks.
Curtis just cracked him with an overhand right.
Well, he's here to fight. 14-8 with 9 knockouts, and he's faced 13 undefeated opponents. He's 7-5 with 1 no decision. So he doesn't just come down to lie down, although he did make a mistake, and we'll talk about that in between rounds if we get that far.
I think we're getting that far. I'm going to go down the limb here. You know, Knyba's got the 86 inches.
And he's using everything with that right hand right now.
Don't grab his head.
Harper getting buckled early, but he lands a right of his own. Just ducks down and goes to town. The fans
He's
yelling
gotten
out
hit
Knyba.
with. Knyba's gotten hit with 3 overhand rights so far by a much shorter guy, you know?
You know, and
Might put that left hand up by your head.
yeah, Harper's upset-minded, but he's inconsistent. And that's the problem with him. You know, he's a roughhouse fighter, and Knyba said, look, I expect him to come out at me, and once he starts getting frustrated when I hit him with that jab, he's going to try to turn this into a dirty fight like he's done in the past. There's that jab from Knyba, and he neutralizes Harper by holding.
The jab's not going to work by itself unless he really sticks it with some force. It's got to be the kind of jab that consistently discourages Harper.
Ooh, there's a counter left from Harper. Sends Knyba back.
Let him go. Let him go.
Harper's dangerous.
Right. Don't push him. Don't push him.
Oh!
Hey, time,
And dirty.
time. 1 point.
And immediately,
1 point.
RB Doc with the point deduction.
Don't hit on the break. Don't do that. You can't hit on the break. Don't do that. Let's go. Time in.
I mean, the worst part is he had Knyba hurt. If he just lets him break, maybe he gets an opportunity. This is the first time that there's a point deducted from Curtis Harper.
The worst part is he's winning the round.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
But after that point deduction, he's giving it away. First round in the books.
Time.
Harper had success, and then Damian Knyba will listen in on his corner for a minute.
Hey, Kurt, listen.
Last one and stay off his head. Don't hook him. Don't hold his head.
But bring it down. First of all, you got to better referee. Don't hit after the break. If he's telling you break, don't hit behind the head, all right? Let's be smart.
We talked about the dirty tactics that he's
This
used
guy
before because
scared
Knyba
you. Touch him.
expected
Here,
that.
here.
But the
Okay.
volatility
Sideways. Touch,
in
touch.
Curtis Harper
Okay, and
has
that's
been
what
on
I'm on
display
right.
before. It
You right?
happened
Go behind.
in August of 2018 in Minneapolis, where he lost by disqualification when he was presented. He touched gloves with F.A. Ajagba, the undefeated heavyweight, and then said, peace out. I don't like how much I'm getting paid. And he's actually wearing the same trunks tonight. And he said, hasta luego. Everyone was like, what's going on? Is he going to stop? Is he going to turn around? And F.A. Ajagba says, oh, well, that's a free win for me. So
I'm surprised he got
is
work
possible.
after that.
Right?
You know?
Absolutely. So since then, he's had other opportunities against Zili Zhang, against Donovan Dennis, Chris Arreola, Bakhtamir Jalovov.
He got one thing going for him.
What's that?
Heavyweight.
He's big.
Get off his head. Right.
I mean, it's a lot easier to recycle a heavyweight. You don't get away with that in another weight class.
That is true. Let's see what, if any, adjustments Knyba was able to make. He was trained by Sean George for this fight. They met while he was sparring Zile Zhang, who will be in our main event next week in London against Joe Joyce. But his trainer couldn't be here, so his amateur trainer, Piotr Wilczewski, is stepping in for Sean George, who did the whole camp with us.
There goes that jab. You know, he waited till the last second of the first round, Knyba did, to shoot that good jab. But he really needs some strength behind it. I mean, if he's going to live and die with that jab, it's got to be able to hold someone off.
It's got to have a snap to it. You can't just probe with it. You got to punish somebody for trying to come in to your space, because that's exactly what Harper is trying to do.
Let him go, let him go.
And Harper throws punches on the inside, and Knyba doesn't seem to have any answers once he ties up Harper.
Knyba is one of a bunch of signings over the past year by Top Rank, and they're hoping to build a stable around Jared Anderson, and to a lesser extent around Richard Torres, the silver medalist from the Olympics.
And Knyba said, look, I signed with Top Rank because this gives me consistent dates, quality opposition, and the opportunity to continue to improve. He wants to be the first Polish heavyweight champion. And some people might say, what about Galata? Well, Galata,
I saw Galata,
he was a four-time challenger, but never won the belt.
That was the night I had to save Carl Moretti's life when there was a riot at the Garden.
Oh, my goodness.
Carl Moretti, vice president of Top Rank.
Was that the Hasim Rockman fight?
Different Riddick Bowe.
The Riddick Bowe fight, that's correct. Riddick Bowe.
He'll deny it, but it's true.
I'll ask him next time.
He was working for main events then. It was another lifetime.
It's been a lifetime since somebody landed a significant punch here in the second round.
There goes a jab.
Oh, there we go, a little
There we
combination.
go. Okay.
A little feint there from Damian Knyba.
Time!
2 rounds in the books of our last undercard fight here on ESPN Plus. Before we move over to ESPN, where Shakur Stevenson will headline inside this building, the Prudential Center in Newark. In his hometown, the 2-division champion starts his quest to become a 3-division champion. And look, there's a gift from the New Jersey Devils and the Prudential Center, a Shakur Stevenson Deluxe ping pong table. You know how big a fan he is of a ping pong table? And there is the gift for Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah, that's for you. That's for you.
Can you take that home with you? Like,
It's going to be shipped to his house. Absolutely.
or is that like the Shakur Stevenson locker room?
That's the
Now,
locker room, and that's now going to be sent home to him.
in all seriousness, he has a home here, and that works for him economically. You know, I mean, he's got to become a draw if he's going to attract the fighters he wants to, his opponents.
You eloquently put that in your essay that you can check out on Mark. Is it Mark_Kriegel?
Let him go. Let him go.
I think so, yeah.
Let him go.
Well, just look up Mark
The
Kriegel's
Instagram,
social media on the gram and on Twitter, and you will see his latest masterpiece on the new boogeyman in boxing named Shakur Stevenson, a man who does it with a smile and a dimple.
I'm waiting for the masterpiece of a jab.
There it is.
From
It was a jab to the body and then that overhand right by Harper.
"86 inches, man. You should be able to control this fight from a distance and pick your time when you want to go in." That was nice right hand.
You know the movie Fast and Furious?
No, I missed those masterpieces.
Well, this guys are slow and mild-mannered. Nice jab from Harper,
Right.
who gets inside despite the 7.5-inch disadvantage in reach. Knyba was a shot putter back in high school in
Let him go.
Poland.
Right, right.
It's not really the first thing I would have picked for him.
Well, his coach saw that he was big and said, throw.
Harper looks like
Get
the
off his
shot
head.
putter.
Yeah, exactly.
You're free. Hands are free.
Oh, nice right to the body from Knyba.
Hands down. Keep it down.
In all
Get off his
seriousness,
head. Hands are
what you
free.
want to do with that jab is discourage a guy like Harper, and it hasn't yet.
Nice counter combination from
Free. We're free.
Knyba.
Hands are free.
You know, Knyba said he wanted to be another Galata. Kind of shocked me the other day because we saw enough in this country of Galata quitting in some really improbable ways. Quitting by disqualification. I have higher hopes for Knyba.
Let him go. Let him go. Right.
Tonight, we're going to have Shakur Stevenson looking to send a message to all the lightweights that the king is here. Big night for Shakur Stevenson because he is already in the top 10 pound for pound list, but he knows that his potential, Mark, is to one day be at the top.
I'm kind of curious about Yoshino. I'm giving all the guys that have taken a pass on Shakur. I mean, this is a guy who came around the world to fight in another man's hometown that other guys wouldn't fight. I mean, I'm wondering what Yoshino knows about himself that we don't.
Seconds out.
Well, Yoshino knows that this is a high risk but huge reward opportunity for him. But he's got to have the fight of his life if he's to pull off the upset tonight against the man who is literally unhittable, Shakur Stevenson. Plus minus in the game, and the man who is now sitting in front of opponents and trying to punish them.
That's the Knyba that was advertised.
There we go.
And that's where the jab gives you your space for your right hand. Come over the top or use it how you see fit.
There is another overhand right from Knyba. We should call him Evil Knievel. For all those people of our age, Mark.
Did you just make that up?
Well,
I guess so, you did.
Right, right. Step back, step back. Good, good, good.
The cut on the left eye of Knyba.
Right, right, right.
let's see
Right.
how Lucas Taborek does in the corner. Trying to stop the bleeding on Knyba here in the 4th round.
I mean, this is the World Series to Harper. He's got to get one of these, right?
He wants to make sure that
He's
Knyba
got
knows
the-
why he's hurt the hurt.
But he's got the guy hurt. He has hit him with overhand rights. His shot is pretty clear here.
Well, yeah, he's got a puncher's chance against Knyba, who makes enough mistakes to allow Harper into this fight. But now Harper is on shaky legs after an overhand right by Knyba, and he's holding on for dear life.
Good.
Sometimes the blood brings out the best in fighters because it gives them a sense of urgency. They don't know how bad it is. And Knyba, in his career, I don't believe has been cut yet.
Knyba's mouth is open like he's tired, man.
Get off his head.
You know why? Because he is, but he's still got power in that right hand that continues to land on Harper. All right, so it took Knyba 4 rounds to wake up, but as advertised, here is the Knyba we came to see. Nice jab to the neck, right in the neck.
Time!
All right, as he walks back to get treatment on that left eye cut. Here's the right hand, Mark.
Here it comes. Right over the top. That's how he's making his space. I wonder how he's going to react to being cut.
Prawy i luz, raz, dwa, okej?
Translate, Mark.
Jak go trafiłeś? Nie podpalaj się. Spokój, spokój, spokój. Dalej lewą ręką pracujemy, kontrolujemy dystans przez lewą rękę. Wyrzucamy prawy. Jak wejdzie, zakryje go. Spokojnie, nie na siłę, jasne? Jest wszystko pięknie. Dalej pokaż ten spokój. Dojrzałość pokaż, jasne?
Second down.
That's a pretty good cut there. The good news is it's not over the eye. It's to the side.
It's on the outside of the left eye. Cause there in the 4th round. Round 5 of a scheduled 8-rounder before we move over to ESPN immediately following UFC. We'll have Keyshawn Davis opening up the show against Anthony Jiggett, and then it'll be Jared Big Baby Anderson against George Arias in a battle of unbeaten heavyweights, and it all leads to Shakur Stevenson making his full lightweight debut against Shuichiro Yoshino in tonight's main event. Good 4th round for Knyba. Let's see if he can build on it here in this 5th.
Every round's a money round for a guy like Knyba. Each knockout can put you in the mix.
He's a former Polish amateur champion. He is considered the future of Polish boxing. Fought 6 times in 2022 after fighting 4 times in 2021. And he said he was excited about fighting on Big Saturday because Easter Vigil is a huge holiday back home in Poland. So I'm sure a lot of people back there are watching the fight tonight, hoping to see great things from Damian Knyba.
I'd hope for a little bit better things from Damian Knyba. But
Don't hit him behind the head.
At this point, I'd settle for something from Damian Knyba.
I don't think it's that bad, but you know, he's in this mix of top-ranked heavyweights. He really does need to make a statement.
I just told you, don't hit him behind the head.
Or is it better to look okay and not good?
No, I think it's important for him to look good. You know, we've had enough lackluster heavyweight fights.
We really have over the last few weeks.
Ajagba and Shaw, we're waiting for someone to distinguish himself. We're waiting for Knyba to distinguish himself here. You know, we're not seeing it yet.
Knyba Morales?
The Morales fight was interesting. Wasn't a great fight, but it was an interesting fight.
Because of my Lada.
Correct.
Milk of my Lada.
You're on fire tonight, man.
I need to stop.
Right. Stay off his head.
5th round in the books almost, and Jared Anderson is already being called the next great American heavyweight, knocking out opponent after opponent. Tonight, he plans on giving the fans yet another show-stopping performance.
I think on a night like this, to show out, I have to just, you know, be myself and use my charisma and my skill to be the best. I already think that my skills stand out for themselves. There's no pressure in being called the next great heavyweight.
He's got a polarizing personality, big smile, and a lot of skill to go with it.
If you want to see the best show ever, make sure you guys stay tuned and watch the show tonight.
The real big baby is charismatic and he can crack, and now he has that number 12 jersey from the New Jersey Red Devils. Jared Anderson, a two-time U.S. national champion. They like the number 12. Jared Anderson's happy. Yesterday was a different story, Mark. He got into a fender bender, but fortunately, he is okay and ready to fight and put on a show tonight. Your expectations for Jared Anderson?
My expectations are he'll be great. I really do. But what you see from Jared Anderson, what is often unremarked about when it comes to Jared Anderson, not just his physical ability, not just his physical gifts, but there is an anger and an urgency he fights with, especially after he gets hit. And I'd like to see it from one of these two guys, to tell you the truth.
And actually his opponent, George Arias, said, I am banking on him getting emotional when I hit him, and I'm going to take advantage of his irresponsibility when he reacts to being angry. So we'll see what that happens, or how and if that happens, in our co-main event this evening when we move over to ESPN at 10 Eastern.
Good luck, George. I mean, I'd like to see that urgency. I'd like to see some emotion out of Knyba.
He told us in the fighter meetings, you know, I'm improving my defense, my power in my right hand. And, you know, he also said, I'm calm and quiet, but I become a fearless person when I get into the ring. And he's fearless, but he's not really being offensive tonight.
He's being offensive, but I don't sense the urgency. Let me put it to you that way. It's hard to criticize anyone who does this for a living, but you know, his future's out there. He can take it.
Got to take it into your own hands and go out there and make a statement so that people get excited about seeing you fight.
And you know how you start by doing that? If you can't knock him out, throw some punches.
Yeah. Well, we saw it with Troy Isley earlier tonight. It doesn't mean that you have to stop everybody you face. It just means that you have to be entertaining. You have to make people remember who you are.
What I saw with Troy was I thought he dominated the fight, but I saw a lot of ones and twos. I didn't see 3 and 4 punch combinations, which I think he could have done.
Right. Good.
Harper still trying to find an opportunity to land a looping shot, but Knyba managing the range well here.
I mean, they're cooperating with each other right now. They're on the same rhythm. No one's getting out of line.
Nice stick there from Damian Knyba.
Mutual survival.
A little bit of southpaw action there from Curtis Harper, trying to switch the angle of attack on Damian Knyba. And you know that our crew works so hard. They went through 18 minutes of action to find this for you, Mark.
Most important punch in boxing. There it goes. 86 inches. That one might have been 87. Look, they just did this to make me look silly, like he doesn't jab.
It might be the same sequence over and over again.
No, but that's got to be the whole fight for Knyba. It's got to start with that. And it's got to really punish the other fighter.
That's why it's called a stick.
Well, it ain't a stick if you don't use it.
That job is better than his. Touch. Don't just stand up and take a fucking picture. All right? Go to work. This is your opportunity. He ain't on your level. That's one more.
Second out.
Let's go. Let your hands go, Kurt.
Each of these mid-level heavyweight fights is a potential lottery ticket.
Absolutely, and these guys need to understand that. Damian Knyba, he told us, I'm the hussar, and that means the Polish hussar army, as he described it, was the best in Europe. 500 of them would beat thousands of other armies. They were huge, they were powerful. He says, I'm proud of my heritage.
We're not in Europe.
And I want to be the Polish hussar.
We're in Newark.
He wants to be that for Polish boxing, and this is not the way of doing it. That's what I was getting to, Mark.
But what I'm saying is it's not just Jared and Tyson Fury in the stable. There's Efe, there's Sonny Canto, Simone Keane from Canada or France or wherever he's from. I mean, there's a bunch of guys that he can fight. Torres, Vianello. There are a bunch of compelling fights that could be made, but you want a reason to see him again. You want to be able to say, hey, what about that Polish guy with 86-inch reach?
The guy who could tie his shoes without even bending over.
Makhmudov, that's the guy I forgot.
Oh, nice right hand from Harper, but then he's got to take some damage from Knyba. Maybe that's all that was needed to wake up the Polish hussar.
Get that down, get that down. Let's go.
Did wake him up.
Sherman Williams told Harper he's not on your level, and let's see if Harper believes that. Even if it's a wild ride, just throw it. Let it go, Harper. Body work from Harper.
Off his head, off his head.
Short right from Knyba.
I like that shot. Around the guard.
Snap,
yes. That had some evil intention to it. Otherwise, they're just sort of walking in place.
Trying to make Harper pay for coming into his territory now. His real estate. Nice shoulder there from Harper. In tonight's card, when we move over to ESPN, the lightweights will be in effect as we take a look at the top-ranked top 10 ESPN.com list. Devin Haney, the undisputed champion, he'll be taking on Vasily Lomachenko next May 20th at the MGM Grand on ESPN Plus pay-per-view. Gervonta Davis, he'll be fighting Ryan Garcia. There's George Kambosos, Isaac Cruz, William Zepeda, and then Jeremiah Nakatila, who we've seen before. Jermaine Ortiz, who gave Vasily all he could handle last time out. And the hopeful coming up tonight, that is Keyshawn Davis, who's already ranked in the top 10 by the WBO. And tonight could be a star-making evening for this young man, Mark.
Every time out for him is a star-making, but you know, Keyshawn's a fighter. You sense his ambition when you're in the same room with him. That's what I'm talking about with the heavyweights. I'd like to feel some urgency coming off them. Yeah, I want a guy who says, I want to be a star.
Touch up, touch up. Nice job. Back up, back up. Good. There we go.
What I haven't got the sense of tonight
Don't do that. Don't do that.
is that Harper's been hurt.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's been the case at all. And I think when you see that, Knyba has instances where he's landed good shots, but there's been no follow-up. There is a follow-up, and that is the result.
No knockdown, no knockdown.
Well, it's not a knockdown, but Knyba finally put 2-3 punches together, Mark, and this is what we were talking about. This is what he's capable of.
Well, let's see. I didn't see it as a knockdown. I saw it as a sort of stumble.
Well, let's take a look at it.
I stand by. my assessment.
It was still a nice right hand.
It was a nice right hand.
Two right hands, actually. And Harper was trying to find his way to balance. And now Knyba finally finding a home on the top of the temple of Harper that caused damage.
Closing is money, especially in the heavyweights.
Yeah.
Let's see if he can close this out. Because there's a bunch of guys he can fight. Let's see if he makes his case to make those fights.
Round 8, finally seeing what we saw in round 4 as well. Some of that activity, some of that ability from Damian Knyba. Ooh, nice right hand again from Knyba. Setting it up and coming with the overhand right again.
Now, he just let him escape right there. He had him in the corner. He could have closed the show. He could have tried to close the show there. Nice right hand.
That one did hurt Harper, and this is an opportunity for Knyba to erase the other 7 rounds of this fight. But Harper is just looking to be on survival mode.
In 35 seconds.
Ooh, what a shot from Knyba. And now Harper's on shaky legs. 25 seconds left in this round, and the stoppage victory for Damian Knyba, who finishes the fight in impressive fashion. It took him all this time, and you see Harper arguing with referee Harvey Dock.
I think it was a good stoppage.
Yeah, I think it was perfect.
Those are some, you know, he really did take it into his own hands. He closed, he finished it strong. People will remember that. You know, that's putting a good performance on tape. That's something that you can refer to. He's making his case there. Again, I think it was a good stoppage because those were really clean right hands, and there had to be a limit to that.
A technical knockout with just seconds left in the 8th round. So Damian Knyba finishes it this way as we take a look, Mark, at the impressive right hand.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's enough to stop it. I think it was a good stoppage.
I think it was more than the shots. It was when he kind of walked away unprotected that made referee Harvey Dock decide to stop this fight. He was in a perfect position to do that, and when he tumbled or stumbled over to his right, that's when he decided to stop it.
I still think for a guy that big, he has to work on his physical strength, Knyba. He needs to impose himself in the ring a little bit more.
That's the stoppage right there, because Curtis Harper decided to walk away from him. And, you know, it was a long camp for Damian Knyba. And at the end of the day, it paid off for him with this stoppage victory. And Damian Knyba now improves to 11-0 with 7 stoppage wins. He came in at 10-0, and the number 10 will be important because June 10th, on my birthday, at the Hulu Theater to MSG, it'll be Josh Taylor, the former undisputed junior welterweight world champion, 19-0 with 13 knockouts, will be taking on Teofimo Lopez. And later on tonight, you won't want to miss this head-to-head between Josh Taylor and Teofimo Lopez when we move over to our show on ESPN. Let's get the official time of the stoppage with Mark Chanel.
Ladies and gentlemen, here inside the Prudential Center, referee Harvey Dock calls a stop to this bout at 2 minutes 38 seconds of round number 8. For your winner by technical knockout, Damian Polish Husser Knyba!
Damian Knyba with the technical knockout stoppage in the 8th round. He gets his 11th victory. And on this undercard, we saw a draw, a trilogy draw between Anton Cobb and Jalen Phillips.